Hello, everybody, and Jillian, my co-host. I'm Paige. My pronouns are she, her. And
I'm Jillian. Hi. Pronouns she, her also.
Yes, and we are Tales with Twins. And yes, we are indeed twins, identical BTW.
Yep. I'm 3 minutes older.
Yeah, but she's going to die 3 minutes before me, so.
Probably. Let's be honest. We're going
We already
out
made
together.
that joke. And then we've got our lovely, lovely brother in the background over here. He's our sound master.
Yes. Producer, guru, our, everything we need him to be.
Yes. And he pops in and out. Sometimes he'll say really funny shit, and sometimes he'll just not say anything at all.
Yeah, he's a surprise. He's muted until he doesn't want to be.
Yes.
Like right now.
There we go. Thank you, Kyle. Take a bow.
Yes, his pronouns are he, him, in case you're curious.
Yes.
He's also not single.
So nobody asked for
Nobody
his phone
asked.
number.
I've got my margarita here. If you hear it jingling, that's me. I apologize in advance. I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum while I hear this fascinating historical story.
Oh, yes, that is our theme this week. And this week I am telling the story. Last week Jillian did, and her theme was deserts. So this week she chose my theme and she chose history. So I had to choose a history type story for you all. And before I forget, I have my wine. Since you mentioned your margarita, my wine deserves a honorable mention.
Yes.
Boxed wine.
It's keeping the world together, that boxed wine.
Yes, it is a Bota.
2020.
It is a Bota, so it's like, I don't know, more eco-friendly, I suppose.
That sounds perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
It's everything 2020 needs and so much more.
Yes, no kidding. Because 2020 is a fucking shit show.
Oh, absolutely. Here we are. Let's see. It's November 2020, so it's like an extra shit show right now.
Yeah, we're in the middle of an election, and yowza.
We've got fingers crossed for a mystery candidate that we don't need to talk about.
Yes. Although I feel like the fact that we listed our pronouns says a lot about
about the way we voted
for.
Either way, that's neither here nor there. You're here for a good story, and that's what we're going to tell you. You're not here for our political opinions. Well, maybe our pronouns, but that's neither here nor there. We need to normalize pronouns, everybody.
Yes.
It's important.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm so ready. And I'm really nervous. This is the first story that I have presented. I do have a YouTube channel, so I feel like I should be really good at this by now, but I'm kind of not. I'm used to just talking at a camera and no one responding to me.
Well, here I am responding to you. I'm going to look at you like right in the camera.
Oh,
you see my eyes? I'm not going to take my eyes off of you.
Oh my God.
Because we're doing this again from across the country. I am in Washington State. Paige is in Colorado.
Yes.
So we're trying to do this across the country a little bit. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, we'll see.
All right. So far, so good though, right?
Yeah, I think so.
We'll find out when this goes up.
Yeah. We haven't listened to the first episode yet, so I don't know. Who knows if you'll even hear the first episode. This could be the first episode for all you know.
Yeah. But as of recordings, this is the second episode. So
yes.
Hopefully the first one gets released. It probably will. But if not, then this is the first. But really, it's the
congratulations.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
You got your
my margarita, my jingly margarita. Yes.
All right. So this is the story of the Bell Witch.
I love this one.
I know. I
love
knew
it.
you heard it.
Yes. Well, so I don't remember how old we were. We were probably like 15, 16
Ooh, the movie.
when, yes, what was it called? It was called, I think it was called American Haunting, right?
Yes.
Is that what it was called?
And it's got
God,
like Donald Sutherland and Sissy Spacek in it.
I don't know. I'm going to take your word on that.
That's the mom and the dad. And the
Okay.
girl that's in it, she didn't really do any other movies. She was in Peter Pan. She's like really beautiful
Yeah, she had
young
these big,
girl.
beautiful lips and gorgeous hair, but yeah, she was adorable. But I remember I loved that movie.
Yeah,
It was
it's a good
good.
one.
It was scary, frightening, just all kinds of fucked up in like other ways. Oh my gosh, I loved it. I love a good haunted house story and especially a good witch story. So I am ready.
And honestly, like after like researching all of this, I kind of realized that the movie was pretty spot on
Yes,
with a
from what
lot
I've
of the details.
yeah, from what I've heard from other podcasts that have done this, I was actually surprised at how close it was. I mean, there's a lot of speculation around it
Mm-hmm.
from what I remember, but it's been a while since I've heard any of those, so I'm excited for a refresher.
Yeah. Well, and technically it's considered a legend, so it's like no one truly knows if it's true.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that like say that this happened. So it's like maybe it did. You know,
Yeah.
I like to think that it did, or at least some version of what goes down.
Yeah.
But let's get into it, right?
Yes.
Okay, so first my sources.
Excuse me. Wait, we got a drink. We got a drinking game.
Oh yeah, we drink when we
Drink.
burp. All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so we've got our sources here. And the first one is The Bell Witch Haunting, which is a website by Pat Fitzhugh, which was really, really great. It looks like he also wrote a book on this subject.
Ooh.
So you could go to his website and order a book, and he'll even sign it for you for free.
Oh my gosh, I love it. He's probably thriving on the attention. I appreciate that and respect it.
Well, and it said it like all over the website, like this website is copyrighted. You cannot like reproduce anything on this website. So anyway, I hope he doesn't sue me. I didn't like copy anything word for word, but obviously.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyway, it sounds like he's very protective of his obsession, apparently.
Well, I mean, I guess it would be his personal property if it's his writing, but
Right.
yeah,
But it's a public story. That's the funny part about it. But anyway.
Yeah.
So my other source is actually the Tennessee State Library and Archives.
That sounds super fucking official, and I am here for it.
Yeah, it kind of was, but at the same time I was like, this is really like not detailed enough for what I would like. But yes, there are archives of this entire story in the Tennessee State Library.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Okay. So, the other thing I wanted to point out is that this is actually considered one of the most famous hauntings in American history.
Oh, history.
I know, our theme
Okay.
of the day. So.
Yes. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And let's first, because there's a lot of characters. I don't mention them all in the story, but there are a lot of people that live in the house. So I first want to go into that. So the Bell family, we have John Bell Sr., his wife, Lucy Bell, and then they have a lot of children.
Just a shit ton, an actual shit ton.
They have a gangle.
Little crotch goblins.
A
gaggle of crotch goblins.
Is it a gaggle or a gangle? I don't even know now.
I think we have some creative license here.
Okay. A lot of fucking kids. We'll just say that. So this is in order, okay? So oldest to youngest. We've got Jesse, John Jr.,
Okay.
Drury.
Okay, that is a name.
Yes. Benjamin, which unfortunately Benjamin died very young, so he's not really in this sad story. Then we have, I don't know how he died, and we're not going to go into it.
Well, it's kind of one of those things where it's like back in like colonial times, it was like the life expectancy of kids was like 50% or something. Like it's just like that didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean? Like if you had 4 kids, if you had 4 kids, 2 of them would die. Like that's just like a given. So everybody just had a metric shit ton of kids to cover for the like half of them that they would eventually lose.
Yeah, in hopes that maybe 2
one
of
would
them
survive and that he was a boy.
Yes, to carry on the fucking name because they're archaic.
Yes. Down with the patriarchy.
And this does take place in 1817, so it is like, of that time where like a lot of people didn't make it through like childbirth and things like that. So,
gosh,
anyways,
awful.
So there's Benjamin, and he's the one who passed away very young. Then we have Esther, and then
that's such a cute name.
I know, isn't it?
That's adorable.
The old-fashioned names are great.
Mm-hmm.
Zadok.
Okay.
And then yes. Esther to Zadok.
Yep.
And then we've got Elizabeth, but she went by Betsy.
Okay.
And then we have Richard and Joel, the youngest. Okay.
Sorry, that was my margarita that I just slurped there.
Clinky, clinky, clinky.
I'm sorry. I'm getting down to it.
So there's going to be a lot of slurping. Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Sorry. Why don't I just finish it?
Right.
I'm going to give everybody a little ASMR for their ears.
Margarita jazz here.
Okay, that was my margarita.
Gross. Vomit. That was vomit. The ASMR shit is absolutely horrendous, in my opinion. If you listen to that shit, you're a psycho.
Stop it. I listen to that shit.
And so does Mom. You both are psychos. No wonder we're doing this podcast.
No, ASMR is wonderful. It's not for everybody, but it's wonderful. Just give it a chance.
I'm kidding. You're not a psycho. We'll just say that you are.
Okay. It's fair.
Okay. So, all right. Most of this story kind of takes place around the whole family, though. The main characters of this story would be like Elizabeth or Betsy. Her name is Betsy. That's what she went by. And then John Sr., so the dad. Those are kind of the 2 that had the most issues, right?
Okay.
Okay, so our story begins with John Bell Sr. taking a nice little stroll through his fields. They were farmers, and they had a lot of land, and their land had things like there's a cave in their land or on their land, which it's funny, actually, the cave kind of plays a big part in like tours today. Like that's where people say there's a lot of activity is the cave, but generally speaking, the cave really doesn't, there's not much that happens in the cave.
Okay. That is ringing a bell.
Oh,
that was like,
rich.
That was so bad.
That was bad.
Kyle, take that out.
No, don't. Don't do that.
It's like, that was just sad.
It was a dad joke for everyone.
That was a terrible dad joke. Okay, sorry, I'm ready.
Okay, so he's taking a stroll through his large plot of land and looking at his crops, and he comes across a strange creature on his property. And this creature is described as like a dog, but it had the head of a rabbit.
Oh, God, it's like a taxidermy project just gone wrong.
It's a jackalope. With a dog body.
Definitely not a jackalope, but
well, no, but like it's got a
sure.
rabbit head with a dog body and a rabbit body with deer antlers. Like it's anyway.
Yeah, is that what a jackalope is?
Yes.
They're okay. Then it legit was like really close to being an actual jackalope.
Well, not really. I mean, jackalopes are rabbits with like antlers.
So they don't have dog bodies.
No, But
Okay.
this creature had a dog body with a rabbit head.
Okay.
I'm
God,
just
that's so
saying, like,
disturbing.
it's two animals taxidermied together.
Yes.
And we have a creature that John Bell is witnessing here.
Yes. It's
Okay.
and it's haunting and it's weird. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I interrupted.
He's obviously startled, so he attempts to shoot it.
Of course.
I know, because what do you do when you
I
see
mean,
a
that's
weird
what people
animal?
do. We kill things. That's
Yeah.
just that's life as a human. You just live to kill things. Cute things.
Okay, so anyway, he goes to shoot it and it actually like disappears. Poof, puff of smoke. Gone.
Oh. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So he, in this story, he literally is like, okay, that's weird. I'm gonna go home now. Bye. And it's just like
It's like
moves
that
on.
was the weirdest thing I've literally ever seen in my whole life. I think I'll go home and have a snack.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just like-
You just kind of like, okay, I guess I'll go home now. That was weird. I'm
my
done
God.
inspecting my crops. It's time to go.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes. So he goes back home to the house and then they sit down for dinner. And while they're eating dinner, the family starts to hear like strange like banging and like knocking on the walls of the house, like the outside walls. So whatever it is like outside of the house and it's like banging all over the fucking place on the walls.
Quick question. Do we know how long they've lived in this house?
You know, when I was researching, yes, there was stuff about that. But
did you write it down?
No, I did not.
Okay, well, but either way, it's safe to assume that they've lived in this house for at least a handful of years, right?
So I think they did move there somewhat recently.
Okay.
Though I'm not entirely sure. Though I think they were there for like long enough to know that this wasn't something that was happening before.
Okay, so they knew that this was like abnormal for, normal.
Yeah, so they knew like
Okay.
when they moved in, this wasn't happening.
Okay.
Which we'll get into this because these things did happen suddenly. I do remember like reading that part of it. And they moved from New Jersey, maybe? Don't quote me on that.
We are not here for facts.
Right.
We are here for a good fucking story.
Yes. And yeah, so they moved to this plot of land in Tennessee. So that's where this takes place, is in Tennessee. I don't know if I mentioned that before. But
okay. I don't remember if you did.
Oh,
but
my
either
bad.
way, okay.
I had it
you
in
might
my
have you
notes.
might have and I might have just moved on from that quickly. I'm not sure. You probably did.
I guess
We'll
I
find
skipped
out.
over my first bullet point. It said, in 1817, the town of Adams, Tennessee, played host to a very aggressive entity known as the Bell Witch.
That would have been epic if you had said that.
Okay, there it is. I said it. It's a little late, but there it is.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I guess I just like skipped over it, not realizing it.
It gave me goosebumps. Even in the middle of the story. So I feel like that's saying something.
Okay.
Good job. Good job.
Damn it. Why did I skip over that?
That's okay. That's all right.
Okay. So, anyways, we don't know how long they've actually lived in this house, but they have been here for a little bit of time to know that this is not something that was happening before. Okay? Okay.
Got it.
So, John Sr. sees this weird dog rabbit thing. He goes home, eats dinner. Then they're all hearing this weird shit going on outside the house. So they go out to see what it is. All the men of the house go out and they find nothing. And this actually became a nightly occurrence. This knocking.
Oh my God.
Yeah, every time they would sit down for dinner, it would just start going. It was literally just there to be annoying.
Yeah, it's like the world's rudest neighbor
Yeah, no kidding.
that
Only
you
it's a
can't
witch.
see.
I can't see. Yeah, it is invisible.
Gosh.
I guess I should point that out, though. You kind of
Well,
get
I
that.
assumed we would get there.
Yes, it is invisible.
Okay.
Okay, so they find nothing outside, though this starts to happen all the time. And every night they go out looking for it, they find nothing. Okay.
Okay.
Ultimately, though, as things progress, this goes on for a while, things start to get a little bit more weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
The children start to talk about how they hear like a gnawing on their bedposts.
No, I don't remember that. That is just
Gross.
cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Like oh my God. Ew, that sounds awful. Okay. I'm here for
Yeah.
this. Here we go.
Yeah. So they kind of described it like how like if you would hear like a rat or a mouse like chewing on the bedpost, that's kind of what it sounded like. So like a scratching kind of like
Yeah,
chewing
but like
sound on wood.
knowing that, well, I guess I don't know this, but I'm assuming that they know it's not a mouse.
Yes, they did
So then
like
it's like,
check.
what is that? Like,
Yeah.
oh God, that's awful. That just makes me cringe.
Yeah. Icky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they like checked around and make sure there's no like mice or rats or anything, and they find nothing. And the bedposts were fine. Like there was no actual like chew marks on the bedposts. So,
Ew. So it's
yeah.
it's like literally just mimicking the noise of chewing.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
Ew.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing is while the children were sleeping, their blankets and pillows would get like ripped off of them and like pulled out from underneath their head and like thrown on the floor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and not just like slowly pulled off, which almost would be worse.
Yeah, that would be like creepier, I think. Just a little
Yeah,
bit.
but it
I
would
mean, either
like,
way, it's not great.
right. But it would like rip it off, like rip off the blankets and throw them on the floor kind of
Oh my
thing.
gosh.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird. Um, and then the family also started to hear like faint whispers, and it sounded like an old woman singing.
Ew.
Yeah, gross.
I wonder what she was singing. Like, I'm curious if it was like humming or if,
It
you
said
know,
hymns,
uh, uh,
possibly.
ew.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
said what sounded like hymns.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's actually what she was singing, but that's what they said it sounded like.
Oh,
So,
that's gross.
yeah.
Okay.
Some other things that they started to experience were the children also started to see strange animals on the property. The dog thing and like birds, they saw like strange, really large birds like flying around and like
Okay.
perched on fences and things.
That's
And
that's a little less alarming to me, just because it's like birds have migration patterns, so it's like
right.
they could have just been making their way through because it was that time of year.
Yeah, I suppose. Although I feel like these children were like kind of raised in an environment to know animals, like they live on a farm and
Yeah,
that
that's
kind of
true.
thing.
And
So they maybe would be more educated than like we are on like types of birds that are native to the area of Tennessee certain times of the year.
that's true. That's true. I guess I didn't really think about that, but yeah, that makes sense. They were probably like homeschooled.
No, they were
Just
not homeschooled, actually.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we'll
Oh
get
no,
into
you know
that.
what? You're right. I remembered that part of the story. Like, because
Yeah,
there was weird stuff. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna let you tell the story.
yeah. So they're not homeschooled, but anyway, yeah. So they saw some weird animals. I don't really know. To me, I was like, I mean, meh. But at the same time,
Yeah.
like, it's a
The
cryptozoology
dog
thing.
rabbit. Yeah, the dog rabbit thing is, I mean, that's enough to just be like, that's so gross.
Yeah, that would be really scary. Okay, so it gets even more weird. So they did have slaves on the property. And one of the slaves,
what'd you say, 1700s?
1817.
1817. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that
In Tennessee.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But I guess for the time makes sense.
Yes. So they had a slave named Dean, and sorry.
I'll take that out. That too.
I don't want my voice to sound all raspy.
I know. I feel there are moments where, like when I was telling mine last week, I was like, why am I all of a sudden like
So
phlegmy?
thirsty?
Well, for me, I was like just like phlegmy, and
I'm feeling that too.
like,
It's the
hack it
sugar
up.
content of the alcohol, I think.
Oh, okay, that actually makes sense, because I was just like literally all day I've been 100% fine, and then the moment my voice has to sound nice, I have like snot in my throat, and I
Yeah. All
just,
hacky.
like, yes, I just like couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Okay. So they had a slave named Dean that worked on the property.
Okay.
And he reported being followed by a black dog creature frequently.
Ew.
I know. And here is a quote from the Tennessee archives.
Okay.
I hope I don't mess this up reading it.
It's okay. It's all right. You can. I messed mine up a couple of times, and I'd have to go back and start over. It's
All right. So we've got this quote from the Tennessee Library Archives.
Okay.
From the slave named Dean.
Okay.
The witch had a dislike for the family slaves, tormenting them relentlessly, beating them, and refusing to allow them into the house. A bell slave named Dean. Oh, sorry. Dean didn't say this. The Tennessee Library Archive said this about Dean.
About Dean, the slave. Okay.
About Dean the slave.
I'm just like, oh my God. Okay, you guys, slavery is not a joke. We're not laughing at slavery.
I'm just laughing at my tipsiness.
Yeah, at your blunder.
Yeah. Oh, Kyle's coming back and he fucking missed it. Oh, you didn't? Oh, thank God. You can leave that in if you want.
I thought that was pretty funny. Okay. Yeah,
All
keep
right,
going.
let's
Keep
try
going. We're
again.
leaving that in.
All right. Let me start over though. Okay. The witch had a dislike for the family slaves, tormenting them relentlessly, beating them, and refusing to allow them into the house. A bell slave named Dean stated that he encountered the witch several times and that it appeared frequently in the form of a large black dog or wolf, sometimes with 2 heads and sometimes with no head. Dean also claimed to be turned into a mule and attacked several times by the witch.
I need you to describe to the 3 listeners that we have what my face looks like in response to that quote that you just read.
It was, I don't even know.
Sheer disdain. That's what that was. A headless dog?
It looked like you ate a sour lemon.
It's just,
we'll just say that.
That must have been so horrifying.
I know.
And you never knew, like, he probably obviously never knew like what it was gonna look like. You know, just kind of taken by surprise, and it's like, oh shit, there's the headless dog again.
Yeah, it did say that after he like saw this thing happen, he eventually started to carry around like an axe, and he actually had his wife make him a witch ball. And a witch ball is just like a glass ball that has like Kyle's making funny faces. This witch ball. So a witch ball is basically just like a glass ball, and it has like different colors swirled around in it, and it supposedly supposed to ward off like witches and their spells.
So, okay. So I'm trying to remember this because this is like a distant childhood memory. But I thought I remember at some point in my life coming across a witch ball.
Yeah, I've definitely seen them before and didn't know what they were.
So, but here's the thing. I remember like seeing it and it had these like black splotches
Mm-hmm.
in it. And I remember whoever was showing it to me said that those were trapped witches, like inside of the ball. Okay, I'm going to be 100% honest. I might be making that up, but I feel like I remember I have like some sort of distant memory of
that happened.
Somebody showing me something like that and telling me that's what it was for.
Yeah, witch balls are meant to capture witches inside them.
Whoa.
Oh my God. Okay. So I'm not totally crazy then.
Okay.
So that's that. I just remembered seeing that and thinking that the ball, when from what I remember, the ball looked, this is going to sound really weird, but the ball looked sick. It had like weird black,
drips.
And it was like really weird
eerie
looking. And now I just remember, I wish that I remember where that was or who was telling me this or who was showing me that, because it seems so distant, but I remember that distinctly, the colors in there. It was really bizarre.
Yeah. I mean, I looked into it and they're actually really pretty. Some of them, they look really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess it just kind of depends on what you're into and like the look that you're going for. But they are made with like swirls of color in them.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what it was, and it was just some embellishment on whoever was showing it to me. I don't know.
Kyle's got one right there.
Oh, that actually is really pretty. The one that I saw was more like
eerie.
Yeah. And because I feel like I remember it was black, and well, the glass was clear, but it had
the black splotches.
Yeah, it was almost like it almost had like little
like a
tiny,
firework.
Yeah, a little bit, but small. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm not doing a very good job describing this. And honestly, like I also feel like I'm making this up, or I dreamed it. I don't even remember, but I feel like I've seen one of these before. Yeah, and I remember looking at it and being like, okay, that's a load of bunk. Like, stop telling me lies. But it was eerie. Like, either way, like whether you believe in it or not, it was eerie.
Yeah, and it has a historical like value. Like, people had these. I mean, this is the early 1800s, and this was something that they had pretty frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, this slave dean started to carry around this witch ball. I don't know if it helped or not.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's true.
That's what he did.
Okay.
Okay, so the next thing is that Betsy would frequently see a young girl in a green dress, like swinging on a swing in a tree. Yeah, I don't know how they knew it was a ghost or not, but that was everywhere. When I was looking into stuff, that was like all over the place, and I don't know where it was, if it was on their property or what, but she saw frequently a little girl swinging in a tree.
That's weird. And that was
specifically in green.
Yeah, I remember that was in the movie too.
Yeah. It's funny, there's a lot of these little details that were in the movie, and I was like, wow, okay. Like the cave, like they have the cave in the movie.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Okay. What?
You got it.
Yeah, this is the note that I added today. Okay. So apparently the witch conjured, quote unquote, a log in front of a neighbor. So like basically the neighbor was like walking along, whatever. And all of a sudden this log just like appears in front of a tree.
I'm just imagining like this person just, minding their own business and then literally shatting themselves because a log materializes in midair and then just like falls to the ground.
On the ground. Yeah.
It sounds like something out of a cartoon.
Which apparently it did scare the shit out of him because he tried to shoot it.
He shot the log, the manifesting. The manifesting.
The manifested log.
Yes, the manifested log. God, I just sounded like
and he didn't just shoot it. He shot it with a silver bullet.
That's some money behind that. Like,
I know.
He must have really been freaked out for him to spend that silver on a log.
I know. Well, and I noticed, I knew that the like neighbors knew about what was going on. On this property. They tried to keep it hush hush, but it was like, that shit's getting out because it's just too fucking wild. So the neighbors did like get in on some of this, and that was one of the things that was known of the time, that was like, oh, you have to shoot a witch with a silver bullet and then they'll die. That's the only way to kill a witch. So people carried these silver bullets. So he shot the log with a silver bullet.
I'm sorry.
And as he shot it, the log disappeared.
Oh.
But he found the bullet in a tree, like behind where the log was sitting. So he like shot at it and it literally went through the log and into the tree.
So, no. Okay. I was going to say something super stupid, but I would rather just keep it to myself.
Okay. Well, damn, we don't get to be enlightened by
No, I had a moment of like, but it could have been this. And then I'm like, no, that's stupid,
No.
Jillian. Stop it.
It was a bear trap. That's what it was. Because logs disappear in bear traps.
No, it's in your ear.
Oh, that was a Kyle reference.
I know. That was a hark back to my childhood when I was looking for literally anything. It was in my ear.
Or up your butt.
Or up your butt. Kyle, where's the tutu that I wear on my head? It's in your ear. It's just literally the worst. And there's no good comeback, especially coming from a 5-year-old. Like,
yeah, you just kind of would sit there and like, okay.
No, it's not.
Right,
I've checked. It's not.
Go fuck yourself. In your 5-year-old voice.
I probably would have too. Kyle, go fuck yourself. Sorry, big brother.
Good.
It was a little insight into our childhood there. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, so the log happened, right? So now we're back in the house. So some of just the other things that they experienced that were like day-to-day occurrences, happened all the time, like no big deal, right? Were knocking and footsteps, sounds of gnawing on the bedpost, right? We already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
Choking and strangling sounds.
Wait, so like the choking and strangling sounds were coming from like nowhere?
Yeah. They were like disembodied.
Ew, that's disturbing.
Yeah, disembodied choking and strangling.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. And then there was chains rattling.
Of course.
Yes, and sounds of dogs fighting.
Oh, oh my God. That and the choking would just make me so anxious all the time because it's like, oh my God, like, is somebody actually dying? Like, is there somebody in this house that is dying?
And is one of my 12 children choking
dying?
To death?
Are they choking? Like, what is going on? And then you check on all your kids every single time. So if this happens like 10 times a day, you're running around the house just like checking on all your kids 10 times a day. And then same thing with your dogs. It's just, that would, I am just amazed that they didn't like die of stress.
Yeah.
Well, that too. But I'm sure in the 1800s it was harder to move, just, like pick up and move. But still, like, the anxiety alone would give me a heart attack.
I mean, and that kind of happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Just wait.
Okay. I'm waiting with bated breath.
The thing about the dogs fighting though, that was like, I guess something that was so loud and so common that they literally couldn't even like be in the house when it was happening. Like, it was so obnoxious. Yeah.
That is upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready
Okay.
for more.
All right. I got more. Okay, so the voice was mostly just a whisper, as I said before. It was kind of just like the singing, whispering kind of sound. But
Mhm.
as time went on, it eventually became really loud and clear, like full blown conversational, type speaking kind of stuff.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Burp. Drink.
That was the baby one.
I know.
I finished my cocktail, so
Well, damn you.
cheers to you.
Okay. So it started to speak
Kyle,
really.
cheers
Oh,
to you
there we
too.
go. Kyle's got it for us. Praise the Lord. We needed that. Okay. So the voice became really loud, talked to them frequently. And I have another quote. So this is what the spirit apparently said to the entire family pretty early on when it started to like speak really clearly. This is one of the first things that it said. I am a spirit. I once was very happy, but I have been disturbed and made unhappy. I am the spirit of a person who was buried in the woods nearby, and the grave was disturbed. My bones disinterred, I think.
Yes, that sounds right.
My
Or
bones
disentered.
disentered. Okay.
Yeah.
My bones disentered and scattered, and one of my teeth was lost under this house. I am here looking for that tooth.
That is.
It said all of that.
I'm trying to remind myself that this was in like the early 1800s when people spoke differently.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, part of it is a little bit less spooky because it's so matter of fact, I guess.
Yeah, and all the quotes from the ghost were kind of that way. It was very like almost
This is this
comical.
and that is that. Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit. But I'm sure like experiencing it, I'm sure that's not
It's
obviously
anything
not
from
comical.
comical.
But it's like, I mean, hearing the story after the fact, I mean, those aren't, inherently ominous words. I don't know. The idea that there's like a hidden tooth down there, that's kind of creepy and a little
Yeah.
bit like Blair Witch Project vibe.
And
but
I did find one source that said that the land, there were like Native Americans buried on the land. I don't think it was considered a burial ground or cemetery, but I think that there were some people who were buried there.
Well, gee, I wonder why. It's almost like there were indigenous people here before the white people.
Who experienced genocide.
Yes, and death.
I'm not laughing at that. I'm not laughing at genocide. That's horrible.
It's just oh god. No, I get it.
Sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying, okay?
Yes, I get it.
Anyway, so some Native Americans probably passed away on this land. Okay.
Okay. Oh gosh. All right,
Yeah.
I'm ready. Give me more.
All right. Over time, if you can believe it, things actually got worse.
Oh my god. These poor people.
I know. Betsy, poor Betsy, was got the brunt of a lot of it. Betsy was pulled out of bed a lot, and it would like slap her in the face and on the back, to the point where she would have welts and handprints on her face.
Oh my god. Well,
Yeah.
I just I know there's no way to know this, but I in my brain, I feel like what did she do to deserve this? And the answer is probably nothing. She probably did nothing.
So we'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's just brutal. That's awful. And she's a child too, which is just haunting.
Yeah.
Disturbing.
I'm not entirely sure of her age at this time, though I know she was of school age. Okay. And at this time they did school, like they were done with school a lot earlier, so I imagine she was before the age of like 15.
Okay.
I would say maybe 12, but I don't know for sure. Okay, so it would slap her. She'd have handprints on her face, also just all sorts of shit. It would pinch her, pull her hair, and even stick her with pins. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Icky.
Oh my gosh. I stuck myself with a pin the other day when I was sewing Jeremy's Halloween costume. And it was just like the tip of my finger and it hurt.
You thought you were gonna die?
Yes, I just
Yeah.
I literally dropped everything and yelled for a second because I just mortally wounded the tip of my finger. And so the thought of just being repeatedly poked like that, I just feel
Can't.
yeah, I just can't. I can't even
Gross.
articulate
Yeah.
what I'm feeling right now. I just feel really bad for her. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Yeah. Well, even though Lucy was pretty much hated, the mom, Lucy, or not
Oh,
Lucy,
okay.
Betsy, sorry. Betsy was the one who was abused a lot. Did I say
Okay.
that at the beginning of that?
Yes.
Or did I say Lucy? Lucy's the mom.
Yes.
Betsy is the daughter. The daughter is the one who was slapped and poked with pins and shit.
Oh god, that's awful.
Yes.
Don't
Lucy.
say poked with pins anymore.
It's gonna happen.
It's
Sorry.
just awful. It makes me cringe.
So Lucy, the mom, was adored by the witch. It would stroke her hair and sing to her and call her the most perfect living woman.
I'm sorry. I don't know why that's so funny. It's just I don't know. I don't know.
Let me just beat the shit out of your kids and then I'll sing you to sleep.
Yes, maybe this will all be okay if I sing a sweet lullaby to the mother of this poor girl.
I know.
Oh my god, was she okay with this?
I don't know. I mean, I think
guess
it
there
was
really
kind
is
of one
no
of
way
those
to
things you're
know.
just trying to survive.
Yeah,
You're
that's
just
true. And just be
okay,
glad that
don't-
it's not picking on you.
Yeah, don't beat the shit
But
out
it's
of
just
me.
I feel I mean, I'm not a mom, but I feel in most moms that I have talked to would be no, I would do anything for my kids, including being repeatedly poked by pins.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Okay. I'm speculating
I'm sure,
here.
I mean, I know the mom intervened some. But I'm sure that was probably what was going on. It was just one of those things where I also the ghost expressed an extreme hatred for John Sr., so Lucy's husband.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the ghost just really liked Lucy because she felt bad for her. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not really sure, but
it's heartbreaking.
Anyway, I know. Yeah. One of the things that was in a lot of sources, but it doesn't really make sense to me, is that on numerous occasions, the witch had recited sermons that from churches.
I remember hearing this, and it was entire sermons, not just a sentence, but an entire sermon, right?
Yeah. And in my head, I'm they had no recording capabilities, so I don't know how they knew that she had recited the entire thing, but apparently that happened a couple of times.
That is I mean, the thought of having to sit through church once is
and then hearing it from a disembodied voice.
Yeah, and then you have to do it again from
and
a mystery voice coming from literally nowhere.
And I don't know if they were at the church listening to the sermon, but because it said that it happened when they were at home, so they may have gone to a different sermon. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. But either way, they had to listen to a sermon twice, which blows. That just sucks so bad.
But maybe that is what happened. Maybe they heard it twice, and that's how they knew that it was happening from other churches miles away. Okay, so now we're back on Betsy. Okay, so
poor Betsy.
Yes. So the Betsy had a childhood friend named Joshua, and they were also engaged. when they were very, very young.
Of course.
Yes.
It was the 1800s, I suppose.
Yes, the age of consent was shockingly
Like
low.
12 or something.
It was like 11.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway, so the witch really didn't like Joshua, and no one really knows why, but that was one of the reasons why the witch claimed to go after Betsy the most, was because she didn't like Joshua and she didn't want Betsy to marry Joshua. And the witch even threatened Betsy that if you marry Joshua, I will make this a hell of a lot worse for you.
Oh my God. Like that poor thing. Like one chance of getting out of that house. And it's like, nope, sorry. You got to stay here.
Yeah. And eventually Betsy is like, yeah, no, we're not getting married.
Oh,
I know. So she called off the wedding because of all this, which is so sad.
That's really sad.
Yeah,
I feel
especially
bad
'cause
for
they
Joshua too.
I know, and they were like childhood friends, so it's like maybe it could have been a healthy relationship for the 1800s, but
Yeah.
who knows?
They were far and few between, but that could have been one of them.
Yes, because they were friends.
Yes.
But Betsy eventually was so constantly like tormented that she kind of came to this point of like total exhaustion, like just kind of laid on the floor all day, even had difficulty breathing. Like she had a hard time breathing, feeling like she was suffocated a lot.
Oh.
Yeah. And she would even go to like her friends' houses to sleep sometimes to kind of just escape. But unfortunately, the witch would go too.
Oh my God, this poor girl like can't catch a fucking break. I feel so bad for her.
I know. So the first night she stayed at her friend Teeny, I think. The name is Thenyys. Or Eeny. So Teeny, I think. Teeny's
Maybe.
house. We'll call her Teeny.
Sure.
Yes. So
Big
the first
T.
night, yes, the first night, Big T. And she is Big T because she's a badass.
Okay.
On the first night, she goes to her friend Teeny's house and they just start to fall asleep. The lights are all off or the candles are blown out. They had candles there at the time.
Yeah. That's all right. We knew what you meant.
Yes. So it was dark in the house, okay? All of a sudden, they hear a loud knocking on the outside door. So apparently there was like a door to the outside in their room, in Teeny's room. And then they heard like the door fly open and a great gust of wind. So it was like really windy in the room and the door flies open and it's dark. Teeny like gets up and lights a candle real quick, which is why I'm like, she's a badass. Because I'd be like, no, I'm going to hide under
Don't
the bed.
make me get out of bed.
Yes, but she gets up and she lights a candle.
She's got her
to
shit
their
together.
surprise, but to their surprise, the door was not even open.
What?
Yeah.
I got to admit, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Yes. And then there's a voice, the disembodied witch voice.
Yes, giving them the worst sermon ever.
Yes.
Okay.
And it says, Betsy, you should have not come here. You know that I can follow you anywhere. Now get a good night's sleep.
Shut the fuck up.
And then
he's like, hi, I'm here. Okay, bye.
Bye. Well, and then apparently the ghost, this is a quote. A soft hand patted my cheek and the voice again assured us that we would not be disturbed anymore that night.
I don't know what's worse. Like the fact that she's like, hi, I'm here. You tried to escape me.
Fuck
but
you.
I'm going to leave you alone.
Yeah. Just know that
I'm here.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. Like this ghost is just trying to be like, I'm here. You can never escape me. Like I won't torment you tonight, but just know that I'm never leaving.
That's just some serious like mind fuckery, and I am not here for it. It just makes me cranky.
Yeah.
It's like that's just spiteful.
Yeah. And that's literally what it was. This ghost was just there to literally be an asshole.
Sorry. Izzy is slurping her water. I don't know if you can hear her in the background.
I can't.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. I have some loud slurping pugs, so I'm not gonna keep them from drinking their water. Sorry.
Not allowed. Not allowed. Okay, so ultimately at this point, they're like, this is bad. We might need some help.
Yeah. I think the pins and the witch orb were indicators that wasn't a great situation they were in.
Yeah, they needed some help. So they call in a couple of people. The first is Dr. Mize. And he was actually a well-known conjurer, quote unquote, of the time. And he came to try to exorcise the witch.
Okay.
And there was literally no information on this. I tried to find it and I couldn't find it. The spirit mocked and then frightened him away. That's all I could find.
So I wonder if she was like, "Hey, you're terrible," and then he's like, "I can't handle it. I have to go. Let me grab my powdered wig and be on my way."
Probably. Worst case scenario, he probably got stabbed with pins.
Okay, well, then that is legitimate then, as long as it was the pins.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't some like mild name calling that made him head for the hills.
Oh, I'm gone. Peace out, y'all.
Let me grab my men's high-heeled shoes and ruffled socks and get the fuck out of here. With the pins that you stuck in my ass. Sorry, that I got a little carried away.
No, that was great. That was funny.
Oh god. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so after Dr. Mize failed to do the they called upon a family friend called Frank Miles. And Frank Miles promised to protect Betsy from any further abuse.
Okay.
And Betsy, quote, said, "Frank was the most powerful man any of us ever saw, and just as fearless as any living man. One time he said to me, 'Come sit by me, little sister. Nothing will bother you while I'm here.' The witch responded, 'You go home. You can do no good here.' The witch then began abusing Betsy, slapping her, pulling her hair, before turning on Miles, knocking him over, and then enraging him. And then he left, apparently." He also like...
I have another one. She must have insulted his masculinity. That had to be it. That's the only thing to get that like ballsy of a guy to go in there and tell that witch what's what. And then she's like, "Hey,
you have a small dick.
You have a small dick." And then he's like, "Fine."
Never mind the girl writhing on the floor over here.
Yes.
Me and my tiny penis are offended.
Oh my god. You never insult.
Herpy derpy merp derp.
Yes.
You never insult a ghost hunter's masculinity.
Zach Bagans.
Oh my god. Okay, no, and
that's
all
why he has to send Aaron to do all his dirty work, is because he has a small penis and he's pissed about it.
Oh, that is bold to say.
That is bold. Zach Bagans, don't sue me. I don't know the size of your penis. I'm just kidding.
Oh my god, it's all right. We'll stick to it's all right. We'll stick to insulting dead guys from now on that were scared away by a witch. Oh my god, I do feel bad though, because like poor Betsy is like, here I am enduring this for what, like years.
Yeah,
you can handle this, dude. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. So Now we're on to some juicy goods here.
Okay.
So the two older Bell children, the two boys, I believe it's Jesse and John Jr.,
Okay.
actually served in the military under the future president, Andrew Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah. So
racist supreme.
was he? I assume
Oh my
so.
God. Yes.
I am sad that I don't know enough about that, so don't judge me for that.
Yes. Well, I mean, all of the founding fathers were massive fucking racists, but
Right.
I think Andrew Jackson was like the creme de la creme
Probably
of
the worst.
assholery. That is the white male ego.
Well, his white male ego is astoundingly sad in this story. So here we go.
Okay.
Okay, so the boys kind of, I don't know if they get him to come or if he just hears. He did have property kind of nearby the Bell estate. So eventually he hears about this crazy haunting that's going on. And he's like, yo, I need a piece of that shit in my life. So he gathers like a handful of dudes, okay? 2 horses and a carriage, and they are off to the races to attack the Bell Witch.
Okay.
Upon approaching the Bell land, the carriage suddenly just like stops. Like the horses can't pull it anymore. Like it's like stuck, but it's not really stuck. Like it just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
So after like hours of like trying to get the horses to pull it and try to get it unstuck, Andrew Jackson is like, this must be the Bell Witch. And then in response, all the people there, all the men and Andrew Jackson heard the disembodied voice of the witch saying, all right, General. He was a general at this time. He was not the president yet.
Okay.
All right, General. Let the wagon move on. I will see you again tonight. And then
yeah. Sweet. She's like, I'm just gonna put a pause on your movement here for a second just to enrage you.
Yes.
Just a touch. And then I'll just let you go.
Yeah. And I'll see you again. I'll see you later. Yeah. And then they were literally the cart just moved, and then they were able to like continue on onto the estate.
I'm gonna make, just forgive me for this, but I'm gonna make a huge gender generalization here and say that she is acting 100% like a woman.
Fuck you, sir, and you, sir, and you, sir.
Yeah, fuck all y'all. I'm just gonna keep you right here for a second, just to make you mad.
This is my space. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You've struggled long enough. Fine, I'll let you go. But I'm gonna fuck with you later too.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh god. Okay, sorry. I had to throw that out there. Like she
is an empowered female.
Yeah,
witch,
she's definitely a she, and we've insulted the white males of our listeners enough. Now it's time for the women.
Yeah.
She's just a raving lunatic. Oh gosh. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so they get to the actual house and stuff like that. You know, everyone's there, everyone made it, it's all good to go. Part of the team that Andrew Jackson brought with him was a witch tamer. I'm assuming that was just something.
I'm just picturing a cowboy.
I'm picturing Gandalf.
I wish. I'm just picturing like this big, tall guy in flannel with a cowboy hat and 2 tall cowboy boots.
It is funny because I'm picturing what a witch tamer would look like in the 1817 or in the teens.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't even know. Probably some like, I don't know. Anyway, so he brought a witch tamer with him, right?
He's probably just wearing a dress. Like,
no, it's a dude. It was a dude.
No, you're right. Okay. He's let's see, 1800s. He's probably just wearing regular clothes. I mean, like, honestly, like, there isn't a huge difference between men's fashion then and now. Like, they still wear pants, they still wore shirts, they wore vests. That's like the main difference, probably.
But like in my head, did he dress like wealthy and fancy, or was he just like a peasant dude?
Let's go with both.
Middle
He
class.
probably spent way too much money on his holy vest. That's like hipster.
Hipster vest. All right. So the witch tamer comes, okay? And we're talking about toxic masculinity and small penises here, right?
Yes.
The witch mocked him, saying,
Man,
or he mocked the witch. I'm sorry. He mocked the witch first.
Bold.
Yes. He mocked the witch first and said, like, I can kill you. I brought my silver bullets with me. Like, F you and F your mom. And the witch then is like, no F you, sir. And beat the shit out of him. And then he left the house.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. So he was like, I can kill you. I brought my silver bullets with me. I'm not afraid of you. And then she did not like that. So she started to like, slap him around, you know, beat him a little bit, stuck him with pins until he left the house.
Knocked him around?
Yes. This was all invisible. Yeah. People were literally getting the shit beat out of them by an invisible entity.
Okay, I actually do feel bad for that guy. No one deserves that.
Yeah, I actually read a book recently where that happened to someone, and it was a true story. It followed him in his car and just beat the crap out of him while he was sitting in the car. And someone was sitting in the car with him and saw it happen.
What?
Okay, you need to immediately tell me what book that was.
It's called Paranormal Intruder.
Ooh, why does that sound familiar? Did they make like a movie or something out of it? No? Okay, I'm going to have to.
It should be a series of short stories.
That sounds great. I'm here for that.
Anyway,
so tell me more.
She beat the shit out of him until basically he like left. He wouldn't go back inside the house.
That actually really is sad. Like, it's one thing to be insulted by a ghost, but another thing to like get the shit beat out of you.
Yes.
By a ghost. Like, no, nobody needs that.
Yeah.
Domestic violence isn't a joke, people.
Especially if it's not even if it's from an invisible person.
Yes.
Okay. So after that incident, the rest of the men refused to sleep inside the house. So they set up a tent outside. Andrew Jackson also slept outside, though he didn't want to. He was like all about this. He was like, this is cool. We're going to deal with this. This is really awesome. Everyone else is like, nah, man.
I was just like, I can't even believe that like the future president of our country is going to be like, hey, I'm just going to go happily camp out in this person's front yard.
Because their house is haunted.
Yeah, because their house is haunted.
Which I feel like he's such a reputable person that to include him on this story makes me want to believe that it is real to some extent.
Yes, I mean, my disdain for Andrew Jackson makes me feel less that way.
Well, no, I just mean like he's a reputable person. It's not just Joe Schmo from down the street saw this thing.
Yeah,
this is President Andrew Jackson.
Yeah, he clearly had enough education. He was smart enough. He had enough charm to become president, and he
was well known. So like his account is probably.
It means something.
It means something more than just like some random neighbor that no one can really verify was there.
Yes. I still wish he wasn't such an asshole. But yes, I understand what you're saying.
Yes. Okay, so anyway, they all sleep outside. Andrew Jackson's like, this is fucking lame, but sure, I'll sleep outside with you assholes. So
you chicken shits.
Yeah. I almost said the P word and I'm not about that word, so never mind.
No, either.
Okay. So here's the thing. When the family woke up the next day, they had bailed.
All of them were gone, including big, bad, brave Andrew Jackson?
Yeah.
Do we know why?
No.
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 We'll never know.
I tried. It just said no one knows what happened, but the family woke up in the morning and they were gone. They
That
were
makes
spotted.
me so mad.
I know. They were spotted leaving the town and headed in the direction of Nashville, Tennessee, but nobody knows why. Yeah.
If he didn't become president, I wonder if this whole account would have been like, if it would have gone something like they woke up the next morning and they weren't there and nobody knows where they went. They were never seen again.
Oh, God.
You know,
Yeah,
like, because it's
wild.
just like, because since Andrew Jackson is so notable of a person, like you can
track.
at
this time he was just a general. He wasn't a president.
Yeah. I know, but they can still like track him pretty well. Like, I mean, not that I've done a ton of research on Andrew Jackson, but I imagine that they know pretty well approximately where he was, where he went.
Well, and
at
people
least
recognize
every few
him.
months.
Yeah, people in the town knew who he was, and they said, "Oh yeah, he was heading towards Nashville."
But imagine if they didn't know who he was. Imagine like if he was just Joe Schmo, like he could have just disappeared off the map, and the story could have been they disappeared.
That much more exciting.
Yes, yes. So what I'm saying is Andrew Jackson fucked it all up again.
Yes. Way to ruin it.
I'm sorry,
Andrew Jackson.
I'm sorry. That was
you made the story less exciting than it could have been, you asshole.
I know, you could have disappeared into oblivion and we never would have known what happened to you.
Although it makes you wonder what they experienced to the point where they
wouldn't talk about it. Yeah. That is very eerie. I didn't mean to belittle that portion of the story. It was just curious, you know.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about John Bell Sr. This is kind of the end of his life here.
Okay.
He's obviously experiencing all the things as the rest of the family, though he was kind of targeted more so than the rest of the family, other than Betsy. Betsy was kind of the go-to, but John was pretty heavily attacked as well. It got to the point where the stress of all this that was going on started to affect John's health, and he kind of just started to decline. He developed seizures and had difficulty swallowing.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He became weak and unable to leave the house, like kind of at all. And then eventually became completely bedridden due to like, he says stress from all this that's happening.
Oh my God, what a bummer.
Yeah. The witch continues to torment him, even bedridden. And he's unable to leave the house and get away from it. And she would even attack him while he was having seizures. So she would slap him and pinch him while he was having seizures, which is really sad.
That's really heartbreaking.
I know. How sad.
Oh my God. Like, talk about kicking somebody while they're down. Like, that's just awful.
Yeah, it was kind of believed that the witch's whole goal was to kill John Sr.
Jeez.
Yeah. So on December 19th, 1820. So this is 3 years after they have kind of started experiencing some of this stuff. John Sr. falls into a coma and passes away the next day. The family, while cleaning up a little bit after his death, they find a vial of this weird black liquid in his medicine cabinet. When they found it, they heard the witch's voice say, "I gave old Jack a big dose of that last night. It fixed him."
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's it. Ew.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not great.
So basically it's believed that whatever was in that vial, the witch gave to him and it killed him. They did. Okay, trigger warning. Animal death here.
Okay. Thanks for the warning.
I tried to keep it really light.
I feel like I remember this part of the story because I was sad that this happened. Okay.
So they give a little bit of this liquid to an animal, and it dies pretty quickly, like within minutes. So
that's
obviously
stupid.
I know.
I know.
And it's just like, you just give it to an animal.
Yeah, they could have just taken her word for it because she's a raving lunatic,
right?
And would do something like that. But no, they had to.
They had to give it to an animal,
innocent soul.
Yes. So once this happens, they throw the vial in the fire, and it like explodes and like made the flames turn blue.
That's weird. Okay.
So I don't know, like
I wonder what element turns flames blue.
I think it's cobalt.
Would cobalt kill you? I don't know. I'm not a chemist.
It may not have been cobalt, but it was something that turned the flames blue.
That's interesting.
But in my head, I'm like, why wouldn't they bring it like somewhere to like see what it was? You know, where did it come from?
It was the 1800s in rural Tennessee. Is that where this was?
Yes.
I'm sure they didn't, and they probably didn't have money to do something like that. Like, I get that, but still, like it's, I don't know.
At least try something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's assumed that whatever was in the vial was what killed him, given to him by the witch. Jeez. So at his funeral, the witch sang.
Like, hold up, everybody. Let me sing for the man I just killed because I'm proud of myself.
Well, apparently they were like kind of raunchy drinking songs.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh. That's not funny. A man died,
and it was at the cemetery. Like all the people were gathered around his like hole
yo
of a
ho,
grave.
yo ho, a witch's
Pirate's
life for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess like she just kept going and going until everyone left.
Oh my God.
And that was it. And then
bad for him and his family. That's just awful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad. So anyway, after that, the witch kind of dissipated. She did come back to tell Lucy, the mom, that she would come back in 7 years to check on them.
Fuck you.
I know.
Jeez.
And in fact, she did come back after 7 years. But I guess it wasn't that bad. Like, it was literally a check-in. Like, she just kind of moved some shit around and, like, gnawed on the bedposts and, like, things like that for a couple weeks and then left. Like, it wasn't that crazy.
Like, here, I'm just going to
Let me just pop in to gnaw on your bedpost for a few weeks and then I'll move on my way.
Yeah. Let me just remind you that I'm still creepy.
Yeah, that I'm always here. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's weird. So the one thing I will say was that, well, I guess I'll get to that in a minute, but the Bell family. Excuse me.
Drink.
That was a good one. Drank. So the Bell family still owns the property. Their descendants own the property, and every couple of years, and it kind of depends on where I looked. There were some websites that were like, oh yeah, they still experience stuff all the time, and then there were some that were like every 7 years they experience
She's
stuff.
like, I'm back.
Hello in all my glory.
Let me sing to you.
Yeah.
Or give you a sermon.
Yeah. But there's like weird shit. Like, it's hard for people to get pictures. There's a lot of shadow people and things like that are witnessed frequently at the property still to this day. Which is weird.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then a little bit more about Betsy. She did, like I said, call off her wedding to Joshua due to like all this stuff that was going on. But she later married her school teacher. Which, like we said, the age of consent was very different back then, but she was a child when they got married.
Let's circle back around to what the age of consent was in the 1800s.
Yeah. Well, and if you think about it, like this started happening in 1817. They were married in 1820, right before John Sr. died, I believe.
So at best, she was like 18. Maybe.
I think she was younger than that. But yeah, because if you think about it, at that time, like if you weren't married by 18, you were considered a spinster.
Yeah, you were like an old maid. And I'm sure her school teacher was probably like in his 30s or something.
He was 10 years, I think, her senior.
I mean, that could be worse. I mean,
yeah,
he
could have been like 50.
It's less weird. Yeah, it's less weird when you think about her aging a little bit and getting into her 20s.
And he's 30.
And being married to like a 30, like that's less weird. But when you're talking about like a 25-year-old and a 15-year-old,
yeah,
that's disturbing.
Yes.
That's weird.
So anyway, she marries the teacher and they eventually move to Mississippi to kind of get away from the house. So here we are at the end of this. What do we think this witch was? So there's, like I said, there's ties to Native American burial grounds. So there's like, could it be, someone who was literally looking for their body? Maybe. Some people, like, it's kind of listed nowadays as a poltergeist, which they did have children of the age for like prime poltergeist activity, which if you don't know, the few listeners that we have, poltergeist activity typically happens with preteens in the house. Mm-hmm. They say that there's a lot of like teenage angst that is so insanely strong that it can literally like fuck some shit up in your like atmosphere.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of kids that were of that age. So some people say it was a poltergeist. And then some people just say poltergeists are literally ghosts. Who knows?
Yeah.
But that's kind of that. The other thing, which is really fucking weird, is a lot of people believe it was actually a hoax done by the teacher, Richard Powell, her now husband.
What?
Yeah.
That I have not heard that one before.
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
It was just like, they believe it was because he was kind of known to be into Betsy, like
fucking creep,
really early on in their teacher-student relationship. And he did not like Joshua.
Well, yeah, because Joshua was her age and wanted to
and they
date
were
her.
engaged. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it was kind of believed that he did all this somehow to basically kind of make her afraid of Joshua and then come to him as like a savior type of thing, which he did. He came around a lot. He was around the house a lot, kind of helping out the family, watching over Betsy while she would sleep. Kind of creepy.
Yeah, that's totally creepy.
Yeah,
that's some serious toxic masculinity. Like, if that's true, if that's what happened, like, that is just so fucked up. All because you dig a little girl.
Yeah.
God, that's fucked up.
So that's kind of one of the theories. But the biggest one that people choose to latch onto, and I haven't mentioned this yet, and I debated about whether to put this in at the beginning or just leave it till the end, but I obviously chose to leave it till the end. So as I mentioned before, the family had this large estate. They had a lot of land. They were farmers, that kind of thing. They had landlines that lined up with other farmers. Mm-hmm. And they had this one neighbor named Kate Batts. And Kate Batts owned the land that was like right next to the Bell land. So they shared like a landline. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. Frank. So anyway, they shared a landline with the Bells, Kate Batts and her husband. Kate really did not like John Bell and they did not get along. She felt that he had cheated her out of a portion of her land. And when she was on her deathbed, I don't know what she was dying from, but apparently she was dying at some point. And she cursed John Bell and said that she will haunt him and all of his descendants. And she also said that she was going to come after Betsy, his favorite daughter, quote unquote. Yeah.
I just like, I mean, part of me is like, okay, sure. But again, it's like history has a way of demonizing independent women.
She was married.
Lies. No, I'm just kidding.
They were a couple and they both had issues with him, but it was just that she was on her deathbed when she
did this,
cursed him.
But I mean, it's still kind of the same thing where it's like, maybe she was a little bit weird. Maybe she was a little too outspoken.
She was a little weird. She was known to be kind of an odd person. There was question if she was into black magic.
Yeah, well, and it's just like, but back then, like, any woman who spoke out of turn, who, put different herbs in their tea, or who learned how to swim was considered a witch. So it's like, I mean, part of me is like, it's the universe just saying like, no, she was probably a pretty cool woman who was, wanted her fucking land. And I mean, I kind of have a hard time believing that on her deathbed, land is what she was worried about.
I know.
Like,
I'm sure just like, if there was issues, it was maybe an ongoing issue. Like, there's, years of animosity between these two families. I don't really know, but she apparently cursed him and said she was going to come after his favorite daughter, which was Betsy.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that in one of the records of the witch, like, speaking to the family, she identified herself as Kate's witch.
Yeah. Okay.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they called the witch Kate. That was her name.
Okay.
So, anytime she was around, it was like, oh, Kate's, fucking
Kate's
shit
back
up again.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll never know. I mean, it's just like there's no way to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why people believe that the witch went after Betsy and John Sr. the most, was because of this neighbor who really didn't like him and then wanted to like get revenge by like harming his favorite daughter. But I will say that
creepy when you say it.
I know. Well, and like in the movie, like I don't want to spoil it for anyone. So like in the movie is like so they play on that a little bit, and it's like kind of wild.
Yeah.
But and the neighbors in the movie too, like that's kind of the direction that they chose to go in all of this, was with that. But I do think that the whole like Richard Powell like creating all this is very interesting, though they experienced these invisible attacks and all these things that I don't really know how he would fabricate, but who knows.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to know, and it's also kind of one of those stories that parts of it are embellished, I'm sure, and based on rumor. Like, I mean, and anytime you get a story that old, it's just kind of like that, it's told from person to person, details change, and so it's just like we'll never know. We'll literally never know. There's no way to know for sure.
Right. Yeah.
But it's wild. Fucking wild.
Yeah. So that's the story of the Bell Witch.
Okay. That was fun. Yeah. I liked hearing that story again. I've heard it a couple times, but I feel like it's a little bit different every time I hear it.
Yeah.
So and people tell it differently, and so it's just very fun. Good job.
Thanks. I hope that was good. I was like, as I was writing it, I was like, is this too long? I don't know.
No, a lot of people cover this story. It's doable,
Okay.
manageable. Yeah.
All right.
And it's just a fucking wild story.
I know.
Yeah, and it's like it's a heavy hitter. If people haven't heard that story, it's just wild. Like, it kind of blows your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if it's your first time hearing this story, congratulations.
I hope I told it well enough for you.
I mean, it was I thought it was fun. I thought it was really good.
Oh, good. Good.
Way to go.
Thanks.
All right. Well, so we're in the works trying to get our social media on a
Wait.
side
Before
note.
we do that, I have to tell
okay.
you your theme.
Oh, yes. Okay. Tell me my theme, and then everyone listening can get psyched for our next episode.
So your theme is transportation.
Transportation.
Yes.
Okay.
So like planes, trains, and automobiles.
I think I know. I think I already know what I want to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, is it
But
James Dean's haunted car? Oh, fuck! Well, shit.
Well,
maybe
I
that
don't know.
twin telepathy is a thing. Because
Maybe. I mean, it's just like when you think of like haunted transportation, you think of James Dean's car. Like, that's
it doesn't have to be haunted transportation. It
No,
can be
well,
a murder that happened on an airplane or something.
Well, yeah, that's true. And I mean, there are so many like
There
missing
has been
flight
a murder
stories.
in Savannah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but there's a lot of options for transportation. James Dean was just the first one that popped into my head, but
You can totally do James Dean. I'm
Well,
sorry if
I don't know.
ruined it
I
for
feel
you. We
like-
can cut that out.
I also feel like everybody has kind of they know about James Dean's car. So it would be kind of fun to do something a little bit less known. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It'll be a surprise, maybe not a huge surprise, but I don't know. We'll figure out. Let me do some research.
Sorry,
here.
I shouldn't have spoiled it for you.
No, it's okay. I wasn't sure I wanted to do it, but it was just the first thing that popped into my head, and it was like, okay, like that one's a classic. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a side note, we are in the process of trying to get our social media up. I have a feeling by the time that you are hearing this, it will already be up. Because we're obviously recording this in advance.
Yes.
But we don't really know what the titles or what our handles are going to be. We are shooting for Tales with Twins podcast for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So you can try and go Google that right now, or whatever.
Hopefully it's up.
Yeah, whatever the kids do these days. And see if that's actually our social media handles. It'll
If
be
not,
like a little
you'll find out
gem.
super soon.
Yes. Yep. The moment you hit enter, you'll know that that's probably not right. But we're gonna shoot for those. We're gonna try for that. So that's Tales of Twins podcast across the board. But again, to be determined technically, because this is in the past. But yeah, I thought that was pretty fun.
That was fun.
Okay, shall we sign off, Paige?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thanks for listening to Tales of Twins. Again, I'm Jillian, and my co-host is
Paige. Thank you all. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for joining Tales with Twins.